Guess what? We got another song, so y'all gotta stand back up. Surprise! With this song, this is, well, I think it's kind of an oldie, it's kind of fun. But there's a girl's part, there's a guy's part, so obviously guys, listen to me. And gals, you got all these other gals up here, so follow along, we'll have the words out there for you. So. You are holy. You are holy. You are mighty. You are mighty. You are worthy. You are worthy. Worthy of praise. I will follow. I will listen.
Old America. When this country was born, it was built upon the foundations of biblical principles and morals. You know, Christopher Columbus comes, he's got his flag, and he's like, I claim this land in Jesus' name. So we started out with Jesus, going that way. And though the majority of the founding fathers were deists, they still said, we're going to use the Bible as a fulcrum for the laws and the morals in this country, regardless. And they said that it should even be taught in school so that the kids know where their ethics and morals come from. And sadly, today, that's not what we see. That's not the picture going on here. And I hear a lot of people today regarding our politics and the country, our directions going and stuff. You've heard people say, you know, they're like, well, if Thomas Jefferson was here today, and then, well, if Abraham Lincoln was still here today, he would just blah, 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 you know. And that's true. If they were here today, I mean, they'd probably be like, you know, turning in their grave. And they'd just be like, something's wrong with this picture. Let's fix this up. We're going to go back to the way that we said it would be, but that's not the way it is. And honestly, if Abraham Lincoln was here today, he'd be really old. So he wouldn't be able to comprehend anything. You'd ask him a question, he'd just, no, we don't want that. Abe, let's sit down, Abraham. Go back to your grave. You're fine, you did your job. So, I love that one. History was actually probably my favorite subject going through school, especially hearing about how, like, rapidly our country grew. You know, it was a baby, then don't go in front of there. How it was just a baby, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's growing, and then we just expanded so fast, and we were so motivated to get this country up and running. And just hearing about that, knowing that we were a Christian nation to start out with, doing what we could to better ourselves and better other people, and then we actually had a justice system, and we were like, you know, we're going to take justice to evil and do all that. And old America actually took a picture of the ideal family. That family right there. They took that picture. No, I took that picture. I didn't take it, but I found it. This picture of the ideal family, father, mother, son, daughter, children, all that stuff. Happy family. That is what America was. And America was, this is what is going to build up our nation, is families that are built upon the father being the head and priest of the household, and then there's the mother and the children, and then they would do their duties. And it was upon the backs of these families that America arose and got bigger, and we bettered ourselves that way. We had to commit to keep these family ties bonded until the day they die. And when I think of the word commitment, like, what do you think of when I say commitment? Promises? That's a good answer. That's a good answer. What do you think of when I say commitment? Dedication. Commitment. Every day. That's cool. That's really good. So commitment. Commitment, actually up here, Webster's dictionary defines it as to put into charge or trust. And trust. And just a little background for me. When I was going through high school and stuff, and I'm sure a lot of you youngsters see this today too in schools or are involved in it, a lot of people fought to get into relationships, find the next person to hold a hand, go down the hallway, or hug by the locker, and they just had to have somebody. They had to have that to fit in. And when I saw that, and I was like, that's nice, but it just seems really hollow, because obviously they're going to break each other's hearts, and they're going to go off and find someone else. And I was like, there's no trust, there's no commitment really in that. And so from my very first relationship, and it was actually long distance, and actually that was really nice because it raised the standards on the emotional scale and not so much the physical. And sometimes I think our culture has it so much backwards with relationships. They say, well, the first step is you got to hold a hand. And then after that, you can hug, and then you can go out on a date and you can kiss, and then no. The physical needs to actually, that's kind of the reward. That comes way later. It needs to be the commitment and the trust of friendship coming up first and being like, all right, hey, I'm willing to do this and I'm not going to give up on you. And I'll tell you what, with my first relationship and with every relationship that I've had, number one, I've never broken it off. I've always told myself I'm going to fight for this relationship, and I'm going to make sure that the other person is going to be better off for knowing me for what I've done. And sadly, a lot of people walk away today, especially our young people walk away with broken hearts because the other person just used them as some pleasure device or boy toy or whatever. And so that really breaks my heart to see that we throw around this word of commitment today. If you were to put up a picture of old America's definition of commitment and modern America's definition of commitment, there would be a difference. Rather than being a culture of hard work and serving others, it's all about the self. Me, what I want, what can make me happy. You see here, this guy's washing this dude's feet and serving, and that's like total humility right there, a picture of like what Jesus did to his disciples. And then self, taking candy from a baby. It's like people who are in that selfish motive, they really think that's, it's not hurting anybody if I'm just doing stuff for me or myself. Obviously, this guy is not thinking about anything else just but himself, and it's affecting that poor little baby. Now, I don't think a baby should have a lollipop that big, but so maybe he's doing a good thing, but it's still selfish because he took candy from a baby. But regardless, old America was about serving, and today it's more like, if it feels good, do it. That's our culture. Hey, if it feels good, go right ahead. It's cool, and don't worry about what other people think about you, sort of a thing. And selfishness all around throughout the world has been the number one temporary solution to a permanent problem with many nations. It's been a temporary solution, I'm going to say it again, temporary solution to a permanent problem. And it's this concept that has brought the destruction of many nations, and even sometimes self-destruction. Selfishness equals self-destruction. The whole thing of pride and ego, and pride actually came from psychiatry from Freud, and Freud was an atheist. So something doesn't add up right there, because it can lead to tyranny, and you see like Hitler and Stalin, it was all about, I'm going to run this and nobody else can, sort of thing, not thinking about the community and people around them. Now, you're probably asking, Shannon, okay, why'd you pick a topic like this? It seems kind of a little iffy that you're talking about on a Sojourn Sunday. Shouldn't be like, happy youth stuff and all that stuff. And I'd say, well, I gladly respond saying, because this is the truth of the world that we live in. And this is the truth, and I don't want to sugarcoat it. I don't want to twist it in any way. I want these young kids to know where the roots come from and how it really looks today. Some people, and I know there's actually other churches out there that'll just make Jesus look like a happy Jesus, and I'll save everybody, and if you just believe in me, everything will be good, and it doesn't take anything, sort of whatnot. And the thing is, you need to come before God, and you need to surrender. You need to submit something, because so many other people out there, they think Jesus is so lovey-dovey that they could be like, oh, I love Jesus, now I'm going to take his grace and use it as a free grace card. I'm going to go and sin, and then, I'll come back and I'll take another grace card and I'll go. And so they kind of use that back and forth, and the concept is totally misguided. Now, if I could actually have all the youth come up here, I'm going to put you guys on the spot. Every youth, every teenager, come up front, make a line here. You didn't know this was coming. Oh, yeah. Let's see, we got everybody, just about. Okay. And Nate, what's up, man? Hey, good to see you, buddy. He's a cool guy. Get to know him. So, sorry, you caught me by surprise. Okay, let me tell you something. You know what's more comforting than a fully financed and prepared retirement plan? I mean, that's something that's probably really hard to get today now with our government and stuff. But what's more comforting than that is knowing that you can lean on and trust the people who are going to be taking care of you. And because like in the picture here, we got the young lady there. These people are going to be making the decisions later on in life, and even for you guys later on. They'll be calling out different shots, which some of them will be doctors, nurses, CEOs of big companies, sort of thing, whatever they want. Nate, what do you want to be?
Military.
He's going to serve in our country. I'm not supposed to step in front of that. I tend to pace. He said military. That's, thank you, man. Do you know what you want to be when you get older?
Yeah. Farmer.
Farmer. We need agriculture, farm stuff. What do you?
Interpreter for the deaf.
Interpreter for the deaf. Communication right there. Big deal.
Child therapist.
Child therapist.
No idea.
No idea yet. No, hey, that's cool. I mean, there's so much more room for stuff to pick. Do you have any idea?
Air Force pilot.
Air Force pilot, another military. Way to go.
Pediatrician.
Pediatrician. What is that? Sorry.
A child therapist.
Right. Sorry. Good for you. Good for you. What do you want to be? Music education teacher. I love music. I was involved in music. But regardless of what these people want to do, it's these youth that, actually, we got a quote up here on the screen. This is, I want you to think about this. Write it down if you can. It says, if you want to be in good hands, when you cannot use yours anymore, speak and show truth and commitment to the youth of this nation. Because with these people, you think about it, you raise them up just going to school, because if these kids are going to learn everything they're going to learn from school and just school, there's going to be a world of hurt later on for you, for the people taking care of you, because all they're hearing is stuff that's from, say, like Hollywood, especially the concept of sex and all that. That's something that's not really taught in a lot of churches, but it comes from the school. And they think, well, sex now is something that's taken from Hollywood, and Hollywood has perverted it so much, but sex is something that God created, and it's supposed to be a beautiful thing between a married man and a woman. And that's something that these kids need to learn from their parents and from the church and from, youth times and all that. So these, just sow into them truth and commitment. Keep working in them, and it'll pay off. Yeah, it will definitely. Give these youth a hand for being up here. You guys can take your seats.